This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all,
This
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Good one.
Welcome to DBL. I'm Tori. I'm in for Jeff, and Sam is in on riding the horse. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up.
I like Sam's TV because obviously you're watching, what, 1883 and...
1923,
1883.
Yeah. It, like, you love those shows so much it's seeping into
For
your
sure.
wardrobe, for sure.
For
it's a
sure.
good look, though.
Although I've
It's a
had this
good look.
shirt
Yeah, you've had
for
that.
over a year. This is my Wednesday Addams shirt. Today is Wednesday.
Oh.
And on Wednesday, I'm Wednesday.
Oh, that's cute.
Scary.
I'm not on camera. No one knows what I'm doing. All right.
No.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. The Sex and the City reboot. It's coming back for another season. Why? I don't know. And just like that has been renewed for season 3, reviews of the show from fans have been mixed, with many saying they are just, quote, hate watching. So one of the most polarizing characters, I hate this character, is Miranda's non-binary love interest, Che Diaz, who some fans love to hate. This fan called it the worst show she'd ever seen in years, but added, quote, I will absolutely be tuning in to season 3. Why? This show is terrible.
I question a lot of choices.
Talk to me.
As someone who has watched every single episode, I don't think that I hate watch it. I don't think that I hate it. I think that I just watch it for different reasons. Like,
Why are you watching it?
I like to see them look fabulous and go to fabulous places and live in fabulous places. I like it more when it's like we've all bought into the fiction
I
than to
see.
see your fiction on Instagram.
I see.
That's just how I roll.
I see.
So I'm like really into that, like seeing all the
whole
things.
aesthetic of it.
But I have to question why, when we get so few non-binary characters, or any type of diversity, especially in the historical context of Sex and the City, would you make the character so unbelievably unlikable?
I'm not the only one. She is so unlikable, and she could be so useful in such a beautiful way. She does stand up. Everyone's standing in the audience. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. Now
They.
I'm also right.
They. Oh,
yeah,
I am
just
so
to be,
sorry.
of course.
Oh,
They.
they. Excuse me.
But I'm also gonna say
Excuse me.
I don't even hate Shay.
I don't.
I just think that Shay represents a diversity of the different personalities that different demographics of people have. And as someone who has a diverse body of people around me, I can appreciate Shay too.
You know why I don't like her? I don't like them. Excuse me. I've got to be more careful. I don't think they are well written as a real character. That's important to me. I want to go around and say what you hate watch the most. Giddy up over Sam. Sam, what are you watching?
You're really leaning into that.
Yeah, I've got to go Western.
I hate watch Vanderpump Rules. I live for Vanderpump. But at the same time, there's a lot of the characters in there I can't stand, like Tom Schwartz, like Tom Sandoval. I'm starting to feel really bad about the Raquel situation. I think she's atoning for those mistakes, and I think that she's going to put in the work. Like Erica said, you're willing for you can.
The comeback you're willing to earn.
And I think she's
only
earning
been
that.
saying it for 6 seasons.
Okay, but I think it should come from her mouth and not mine.
Okay,
That's a
well,
good point.
Thank
Thank you
God
very
it came
much.
from her mouth because it wasn't coming anywhere from this direction.
All right, your
You know
turn
what?
now.
Okay, it is my
Albert,
turn.
your turn.
And I
you
got. I
watch
think,
good TV.
I try, but I got roped into watching Secret Sex Lives of College
Oh,
Girls.
it's the best.
Ew.
I love. No, it's great. Mindy Kaling.
I just had an issue. Obviously, this is not. This goes for the entire cast. Unless this is grad school, the cast is a little older. I mean, my daughter's about to go to college in a year. Have you seen what I'm leave her name out of it? Have you seen what she looks like?
Aren't you glad
These are
it's
grown women.
Aren't you glad it's grown women if they're having a lot of said
They're
sex?
supposed to be in college. What do you mean said sex? What is this?
First
The
of
town
all,
from Footloose?
Wait. Hold on.
We're talking about SEX, Erica.
Hold on. Yeah, I know we're talking about SEX, and we're having this conversation like there isn't a genesis to how this conversation should start.
Yes.
For you and every other heterosexual male. Since when do you just jump into anything about college life of women?
Thank you.
And
Thank
because
you.
every heterosexual male who got into this show for whatever reason thought that it was going to be a show about some type of like cheap pornography.
Oh, my husband
Right.
did as
And
well.
that's the
She's
reason
right.
why you got looped in to begin,
Yep.
and then it's like, oh,
If this is 1989, there's other options now. Why would you do that?
No, you got in because you thought that it was going to be something that it's not, and now you're going to sit here and talk about how you hate watch it because you continue to act like that's not the reason why you got there.
Right?
She's right.
Please.
Yeah. She's right.
I was born at night. I was not born last night.
She is right.
I am right.
The title is The Sex Lives of College Girls, and many men, including my husband, homosexual men, were very interested in because of that title.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's true.
It's weird.
And I like the movie. I
Weird.
the TV show. I think it's great.
Yeah, you just told on yourself.
No,
Congratulations.
What's
You
Sex
just
on the
told
College
yourself.
Campus a secret?
Ugh, I don't
There's
need
no
to watch
secret
it. Those are babies, in my opinion. But
Not the cast.
The cast is a little.
What is yours, Tori?
I dislike but
Knitting on Saturdays?
How do you know my show I'm starting? It's called Temptation Island. I don't know if any of you guys know. The idea is they come in and they all think they're on a Love Island show. They even have Mario Lopez fly out as the host of a fake show, and then they tear it down and go, well, you're on Temptation Island. And they go, no. And it means they can't touch, they can't kiss, they can't have sex, or else they're deducted from a big amount of money in the group. And they don't know.
What was that show?
That was Temptation
That's Temptation Island, yeah.
Oh.
You know, I was this close to replacing him 2 seasons ago. Yeah, and they didn't.
I
I'm
remember
mad
your
about it.
audition.
I know, and they flew me out to LA to sign the contract, and then they said we want to stick with our original host, but we almost got you. Signed the contract and everything. So
Yeah.
I don't watch it, Tori. I don't
You would've
support
been
it.
memorable.
Now I hate watch it. I hate not watch
Okay,
it.
everyone.
confused.
Wait, hold on.
Right.
Mario Lopez, they're confusing my ear. Mario Lopez comes out as a fake host for the first
that was
episode.
Love Island.
No, they do this for Temptation Island. They have Mario Lopez come out and they say, you're on this real fun
It's
show.
the new twist.
Right, and then they go, just kidding, and Mario Lopez flies back. He spends 10 minutes there, and they go, actually, you're on Temptation Island.
we know
What's the one with the cone?
Right, exactly.
The cone?
Yeah, the triangle.
Oh.
The cone tells them
I think I'm
exactly.
hate listening a conversation.
That's not Love Island?
That's Temptation Island, isn't it?
No.
Okay, we'll do this.
I auditioned for Love Island too. I didn't get close. I'm talking about
I'm
Temptation
so
Island.
confused.
It might be Love Island, maybe not
The
Temptation.
one where they can't have any like touching or whatever.
That's Temptation Island.
But who's that guy?
Temptation Island's host.
No, the Love Island is the one they can't touch, and that's by the cone, Electra or whatever.
Yeah, right, you're right. Michelle,
Allegra.
Melissa or something. No, you're right.
Who are these people? I watch every. I don't
That's
know that
Mark
man.
Wahlberg.
Oh, this is not the right
He's
show.
the original.
That's not Mark.
That's
That's
not the right
Temptation
show.
Island. That's Mark Wahlberg, not the Mark Wahlberg from the Funky
this is
Bunch.
not the right show. I'm talking about
That's
Love
Mark
Island.
Wahlberg, and he was the original host of Temptation Island from 15 years ago. They rebooted it a few seasons ago. That's where they had me sign on. Bert approved it, and then they went back to Mark Wahlberg. I don't support Temptation Island.
All right.
That's a bummer.
Wow, I'm so
Got
sorry.
to the bottom of that.
All right, let's move on. Matthew McConaughey's wife, Camilla Alvis, says his mom didn't make it easy for her when she first came into the family. On a podcast, Camilla said his mom really tested her nerves by belittling her to her face. Watch this.
I mean, really testing me. She will call me by all of Matthew's ex-girlfriend's names. So I just flip it on her and brought my spicy Brazilian Latin side, and I let her have it. So I went back at her, and we had it back and forth, back and forth. And then at the end, she just looked at me. She was like, okay, now you're in.
You passed the test.
All she wanted was for me to fight back.
So a little context here. His mother is known to be a fighter. She married her husband, then divorced twice, got remarried 3 times. They would fist fight physically, break down doors. This is all in the book of Green Lights. So is her mother's love language fighting?
No, her toxic trait is
Yes.
fighting.
Okay,
Well
talk to me.
said.
What? I mean, I guess she got the right one because I ain't about to fight your mama. Okay, that ain't gonna happen. That is so bizarre to me. Well, first of all, this feels like unhealed trauma from the mama.
Yeah, there's some
Because I would have any issue, especially if with my brothers bringing in a woman that would even go toe to toe with my mom. But I would also have an issue with my mom trying to like instigate things. That is bananas.
What do you guys think about the old trope of like, I hate my old mother-in-law, time to get off the old mother-in-law?
I think there's truth to it. I
Sorry.
don't think it's a trope. I think a lot of people fall in love with an individual, and you don't pick your mother-in-law, and I think a lot of people can relate to it. So in a perfect world, you and your mother-in-law are best friends. I don't think that's the situation for many people.
I mean, well, there's a show on TV called Smothered with
Yes.
with overactive mother-in-laws, and I mean, I think what we're talking about less about Camila and more about the relationship between a mother and her son. And some are to the point where, like you said, they are toxic. And there is, especially if the dad isn't present, there becomes this weird kind of amalgamation between like mother and
Parental
partner.
Like a triangle.
Yeah.
And you are the other woman in their relationship.
Which
and
is
I think
weird.
that it is very weird. And I think that's where that toxicity comes out.
I do need to say this because my mother-in-law, I believe, is the only one who gets this show.
Hi.
Hey, Viv. How
Hey,
you
Viv.
doing, girl?
Hi,
Because
Viv.
I love me
Yeah,
some
you do.
Viv.
I love me some
And
Patty
one of
Palmer.
the things, not only is she like one of the most amazing women I have ever met, her boundaries, because I came in way back, like, listen, sis, I'm dating your boy. If you got a problem with it, we don't have to date because I'm not going to fight your mama.
Yeah.
And she was like, you love my son loves you. She has never involved herself in
Amazing. Good
anything other than support.
Yeah.
So I'm giving a shout out to
To Viv.
Viv.
Shout out to Viv.
Love you, Viv.
Love you,
in
Viv.
Love you
Alberta.
too.
That's right.
Yep.
And also, I'm glad that their relationship now is all right. All right.
Are we done with Temptation Island?
Coming up on DBL. Did you get my Matthew McConaughey joke?
No.
I did. Thanks, Sam. Scooter Braun is losing some high-profile clients. So is there major drama behind why so many artists are parting ways with him? And Jenny A., my favorite, Jennifer Aniston, gives her take on cancel culture. Coming up next.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Erica, it appears that we had Love Island and Temptation Island.
Right.
Can you explain that to the
okay.
people?
This is why I was confused. So Sam was talking about
Temptation Island.
Temptation Island, which is the show that she was signed on for, and
Yes.
that was what we showed.
Right.
Tori was referring
No,
to
that's Mark
Love
Wahlberg.
Island, which is a
only host they
Netflix
ever had.
show, and that's the one where they get fined if they touch one another.
Love Island, Erica?
That's Love
That's it,
Island,
with
which
the
is
cone.
on Netflix.
And it's really
so
good.
for those
Yeah.
of you who might have been confused about
Right.
the difference,
Yeah, I think
and
I've
we
got it.
actually
Yeah.
did show this show that Sam was going to be on.
Yeah.
But Tori was referring to the Netflix show.
No. I auditioned for Love Island. I did not get far on that.
I see.
Steph, I think, got far on that. Temptation Island is where I had to get Bert's permission. They flew me out. I signed the contract. And it was between me, Mike Catherwood, which was a good friend of mine, and Mark Wahlberg. They said, you know what, in this day and age, this was post Me Too, we really think we should go with a woman, so, you know, we can't wait to work with you. And then 2 weeks goes by, we're starting to go through the scheduling of everything with Bert, and then they called and they said, we're gonna stick with Mark Wahlberg. And then I called my friend Mike Catherwood, who also was up for it, and we were like, oh. I was like, couldn't it be me and Mike? That would have been so much fun.
That would have been
Yeah.
beautiful place. If you guys don't know,
Yeah.
we have cameras everywhere, and the people on there, it's really like tropical, but they go under the covers to kiss and do other things. But it's not like they can't tell. So what is the cone's name? Laura?
I've never seen Love Island.
The cone is like, we
About the
found
cone.
you.
That's why I asked.
Season 1 a
Cutie
little bit.
patooties in
It's
season
like,
one.
it's like
remember?
coffee talk.
They were all, get over there. All right, welcome back. Jenny A. or Jennifer Aniston is so over cancel culture. Was that a Friends reference? Okay, probably not. Speaking to the Wall Street Journal magazine, Jen said she is not a fan of cancel culture because she just doesn't understand what it means anymore. She added, quote, "Is there no redemption? I don't put everybody in the Harvey Weinstein basket." Speaking of Harvey, who produced Jen's movie Derailed, she said she would have to suck it up when being around him and that she always made sure a person stayed with her in her trailer when he came to visit her about a movie while on set.
Wow, and we all know that many actresses felt that way. And as much as you don't like Gwyneth Paltrow, we have to give credit to Gwyneth Paltrow because even before the Me Too movement, she is the one that risked it all and spoke out against him. And that really was part of the catalyst of the Me Too movement being seen for what it is. A lot of actresses had the opportunity to speak out against him. I know how difficult it is. I am not shaming Jennifer Aniston or anybody else that was in a precarious position near him. But you got to give your girl credit.
It's a real act of bravery.
That was brave of her.
And she told Brad, who she was dating at the time, and Brad confronted Harvey Weinstein and said, "Don't ever touch her again." Again, I only give her props for that. What do we think about her take on cancel culture, that she doesn't really get it?
I mean, I think she speaks for most people. I don't know if it's even that controversial of a take now, E. I think that a lot of people, like almost all movements, they start off with a good purpose and they do their job effectively initially. But like I always say about power, it's like a hammer. Like you have this hammer and you cancel Harvey Weinstein, you cancel Bill Cosby, and you get people that have truly been monstrous and been convicted and, tried for their crimes. But then you still got this hammer. And now it's a little bit more opaque. There's less people where you're like, I think Aziz did something, and then you hit him, and then you're like, but it's too late. You already hit him. And then it's hard to give that gavel of power up once you've gotten rid of the people that should have been cleared from the playing field a long time ago.
I feel strongly we should never, ever say Harvey Weinstein or Bill Cosby was canceled. They were convicted. And I think that they shouldn't be included at all in the conversation. I don't think anything about their behavior was cancelable. It was criminal. And we should hold them accountable for that.
They were canceled from our lives in that we do not see them.
No, they were taken to jail.
In any iteration.
Like Louis C.K. was canceled because he was, maybe that's not the best representative, but I just want to make a distinction between,
I think that's a fair distinction.
Fair.
Yeah.
But I think we're also just getting to the distinction climate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the pendulum has swung so far on, both sides that it's become rooted in a lot more emotion.
Yes.
When I think when it first started, it was rooted in fact. Now, when you get to an Aziz, it starts to be rooted in a
biased feeling.
It's reactionary now.
Right. And so not to say that people aren't still being outed for egregious acts that maybe should be canceled.
Right.
But I do feel that there was more room for feeling after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and I agree with Al too. It shouldn't be a hammer now. It's a scalpel we need. You got to really be thoughtful about it. Coming up on DBL, is Scooter Braun's empire crumbling? The major stars who are saying bye-bye to him as their manager.
If you have a trip booked and you've seen this news, you may be thinking, do you need a travel visa to get to Europe now? We turn to these sources and verified no. The new requirements are not technically a visa, but that's how you'll hear a lot of people refer to it informally. Along with an updated passport, you'll need an ETIAS authorization to travel to Europe. So what is it? When do you need one? How much does it cost? And how do you get one?
The European countries are very, very busy with travelers, especially from the U.S., and they want that safety and security.
That's why they're implementing the ETIAS, the European Travel Information and Authorization System, an additional layer of border security. To be clear, you don't actually need one of these yet, but the EU announced U.S. passport holders traveling to any of these countries for any business or personal reasons will. They'll be good for 90 days and allow for travel between any of the countries in this area beginning in 2024.
We recommend you put your application in at least 30 days in advance because it should spit it out for you in about a few minutes, 10 minutes tops, but it could take a little bit longer. So
travel agent Shay Harrington says it will require entering your ID and travel info. Then the ETIAS will be digitally connected to your passport. It will cost €7 or about $8. This part is important. Once applications are open, they will only be available via the official website and accompanying app. Don't fall for any third-party sites offering to get you through the process.
These applications are processed very quickly. Normally, you risk that by doing and using any other form of this application.
So again, you don't have to worry about these quite yet, but if you know you have travel plans anytime in the next year to any other country, the backlog of passports is still a real problem. So if you know you need a new one, that's something you can begin to tackle now. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back. Some stars are reportedly breaking their ties from Scooter Braun, who manages huge music stars. There are reports that Scooter's very longtime friend, Justin Bieber, is looking to jump ship, but his reps are denying that's the case. So some sources say Ariana Grande is also considering breaking ties from Scooter. And according to Entertainment Weekly, Demi Lovato is looking for new management after splitting from Scooter last month. And The Hollywood Reporter said Idina Menzel, not Adele Dazeem, left Scooter earlier this year after signing with him in 2019. But Scooter doesn't seem fazed by it at all and wrote on social media, breaking news, I'm no longer managing myself. Ha, ha, ha. Erica, you got uber viral on your take about Taylor and Scooter Braun in that situation. I just wanted to know what you thought about this domino effect.
Let me be clear. I do not know Scooter Braun, okay? I don't. We were given a situation that was happening with Taylor where it appeared that I said he wanted to be the master as opposed to owning her masters. Right. And that's what took off. And apparently he didn't like that either. I'm just telling you, dog, it wasn't personal. However, there seems to be a mass
Exodus.
Yep. It's a scootidus. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, indicates that there may be some fundamental issues, either with something that's interpersonal or when it comes to the bottom line.
The financial.
So I think when you see something like this, you're just kind of waiting to see where the fallout is coming from. But clearly there's a lot of smoke, so there has to be some fire.
Wait, is there a story we're about to get in here? Are they getting ahead of this?
I'm going to play devil's advocate, even though I tend to agree with Erica. I also know in the entertainment industry, you always see, no matter how big the celebrity, how big the manager, some movement, right? It's like a game of chess. This didn't work out this way, or maybe I've outgrown you and I'm going to go with this manager. Even Angelina Jolie abandoned all representation and only has an attorney now. Bill Murray's the same way. So I do think that that could also be in play, just to keep that in mind. But it does seem like there's a lot of smoke.
And it's a lot of smoke all at one time, right? Al, like, I would agree with that, but this seems a little, they're all rushing to jump ship.
Right.
There might be an iceberg ahead.
But they haven't jumped ship yet. And, I mean, there is something to be said for the fact that a manager that's able to amass that kind of talent roster is probably good with the gift of gab and maybe can talk them back on board.
Yes.
You know, I think there's a lot of merit to what both of you guys are saying. I've been through 5 managers, so it's not that crazy for people to leave, but it does seem very odd that it's all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And nobody but Demi has committed to leaving.
Right, right. And it's a en masse is what they call it, I think. En masse. We'll be right back. En masse.
When you get a stomachache, you may reach for a bottle of ginger ale to help you feel better.
It's a common home remedy for nausea and other gastrointestinal issues.
However, some people online are wondering if their go-to cure actually works. So let's verify. Does ginger ale really help with stomach aches, as many mamas, grandmamas, aunties, and cousins claim? Our sources are a study published in Nutrients in 2020, Emma Slattery, a registered dietitian at Johns Hopkins Medicine, Dr. Matthew Goldman with the Cleveland Clinic, and 4 ginger ale brands.
This claim needs context. Here's why.
A 2020 scientific review published in Nutrients analyzed more than 100 studies on the effects of consuming ginger. It shows that ginger root can help relieve nausea. Registered dietitian Emma Slattery says eating ginger can also help you cut down on bloating and constipation because it improves the rate at which food exits the stomach and continues along the digestive process. But while ginger may be in the name of the fizzy drinks you find in stores, many brands of ginger ale don't actually contain any real ginger. Verify looked at the ingredients lists of 4 popular ginger ale brands. Seagram says it contains ginger extract with other natural flavors, while Schweppes, Canada Dry, and Great Value ginger ale do not list ginger at all. Instead, only say natural flavors.
So while ginger itself might actually help relieve a stomachache, The common ginger ales that you can buy at a supermarket don't contain enough of the ingredient to actually make a difference.
Plus, ginger ale, like most other soft drinks, often contains large amounts of sugar, which may create further issues for you and your stomach ache. Dr. Matthew Goldman with the Cleveland Clinic says even diet ginger ale can be harmful because our bodies may not digest artificial sugars as well. So, how can you use ginger when you're feeling sick? The Cleveland Clinic recommends mixing ginger root with decaf tea or warm water.
With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Many people keep bottles of water somewhere they might come in handy during an emergency, like stockpiled in a garage or a pantry.
Or maybe you're like me and just leave water bottles everywhere.
Can you drink those bottles days or even months later? Let's verify. Does bottled water that's properly stored expire? These are our sources. Bottled water that's unopened and stored properly doesn't have a shelf life, according to the Minnesota Department of Health and a letter from the New Jersey Department of Health. Foodsafety.gov says commercially bottled water can be stored indefinitely, though the taste may be impacted by improper storage conditions.
So, what is proper storage?
The International Bottled Water Association recommends storing water at room temperature or cooler, out of direct sunlight, and away from solvents and chemicals, such as gasoline, paint thinners, household cleaners, and dry cleaning chemicals. So we can verify, no. Unopened bottled water that's been properly stored does not expire. So then why do some bottles of water have expiration dates? The FDA doesn't require bottled water to have expiration dates, but the New York State Department of Health says many manufacturers opt to give their bottles 2-year expiration dates for taste reasons, not for safety. And what about those half-empty bottles of water laying around your house? Buxton, a British bottled water company, says once a bottle is open, you should finish it within 3 days to avoid any potential bacterial growth in the bottle.
With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Welcome back. If your joints are hurting you, your grocery list could be making it worse. So it's time for some joint and muscle support, brought to you by Omega XL. So according to experts, there are certain foods that promote inflammation to the joints. Those are processed foods with red meat or high salt content. Also, avoiding adding sugars like candy, soda, and flavored coffee can help. And finally, don't eat refined carbs like white bread, white rice, and potato chips. That is my diet. I'm kidding. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers, supported by 30 years of clinical research. Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. So call 1-800-725-2612 or visit omegaxl.com for more information.
Well, I was looking at that list. I was like, sugar, who knew? Of all the battles you would have in your life, smoking or whatever people deal with, I think sugar is the hardest for everybody. Everybody had an uncle. On this panel, it's definitely me. You know, I stay with some gummy bears.
You're the gummies.
What happened to your Mike and Ike situation?
Yeah, it ebbs and flows, but now you've started something, so you know I'll be at TVS, and it'll be 2 for $3, and I'm on there.
So and it continues. We'll see you tomorrow.